All right, I'm back and finally returned with some Dragon Ruler stuff. Now, I was taking the time during this event to kind of try out a more synchro focused version of Dragon Ruler, and this is a portion of what I came up with. This particular build won't work in the event just because grass is not allowed, but you could effectively run everything else. And plus, there was a couple other cards I was running that I didn't show right here. I was testing it on a different account, but I did want to kind of update on where I was, where some of the combos and stuff and weird intricacies to this is going through. So first off, I want to say competitively, this is not going to be a very strong deck. Just being very straightforward and real about it, it's not going to be very strong. But it is very cool. It's funny. It's interesting. And there is some creative aspects to it that you can also put in a couple of other tech cards that allows you to really open up some plays. So you're probably looking at the extra deck and going, um, what are those? And some of these cards are options I would say that you can include. The first one being like the Cyber Slash Harpy Lady, just as an option for going first, since it's a generic synchro monster that you can go into. And with it being a win, means that you have some synergy with Tempest. If you ever need to banish something out of the graveyard that's not one of your more crucial dragons at the time. So this is optional. Pretty much all the level 8s, I would say, are optional. Like, you could really just run this without level 8 synchros at all, and it would be fine. Another card I had in here, sorry, I forgot, but it is very crucial, um, is Thought Ruler, just because you can oddly find situations where summoning him is pretty normal. Like, you don't actually think about it at all. Another card that I had added in here, I'm so sorry that I'm adding all of this last minute, but this is just like how intricate these things kind of are with this deck. The one card I was running, it was this. As you see, there's a lot of URs and SRs I'm missing that this account just doesn't have, but it had all the other Dragon Rulers and stuff. But again, I'm just trying to fly through this. Um, and that's just because there's going to be a lot of situations where you have a Dragon Ruler and either you have a level 1 tuner, level 2 tuner, or level 3 tuner. And you kind of want to have that flexibility where you can go in a couple of options. Now, I may be wondering, well, why is like Crimson Dragon here? Um, and there is some synergy here where you could use Wrangleworm as a means to get there. Either you can discard this off of one of the baby rulers, so it's in the graveyard, and then when you do a normal synchro play, you get the token. And then as long as you can find a way to get Armorgram into the graveyard, you can bring it onto the field and then make Crimson Dragon. So this is actually not that difficult to go into. Um, Another option is, let's say you already used your Wrangleworm effect and have it banished. If you can make a Dissipator to bring it back, then you can still make another Crimson Dragon as well. And Crimson Dragon, it's cool. One of the funny things you could do is like special summon a red Supernova Dragon off of your Transcendosaurus, because this is as generic as you can get. Obviously, there are better 12s that you can play, but the point of this is to show you what the deck is capable of. When it comes to essentials, Baron, number one, you're going to play it. It's a level 10 generic synchro, one of the strongest going first, even going second cards. You're going to go. You had to play this. I think because we're playing so many Dragoonid cards, not having Dragoonid Knight Interbeer would be kind of weird. You should have that for another negate, and there might be some monsters that you need to swing over and banish, so this comes in clutch for that. Um, Sword Soul Supreme Sovereign is also a pretty good card. It's generic, and you can also trigger its effect to banish non-target banish pretty easily because it says if a card is banished, and guess what the Dragon Rulers do pretty often? They banish stuff. So you trigger this pretty easily, and then all of these things do also synergize with, Dissipator, because the more you banish stuff, the more it allows you to recycle it back in your deck. And then you have your Sacred Sword of 7 stars and your Super Rejuvenation to get you some pluses in your first turn. That grass is greener, because you're just playing so many dragons, you might as well play grass. Like, put the deck at 60, put some other cool little text in here, get the deck to 60, so that way when you know hit a really big grass, like it's really going to pop off for you. Um, the and as you can probably tell, like stuff like the Majestic Star Dragon and the Red Supernova, those are more of targets that you have off of the Crimson Dragon. But I find that like as the duel goes on, this deck gets even harder to stop. Like your first turn is your worst turn. Turn 3, you're insane. But turn 1, it's pretty mid. Like you might do Seal Barone Pass. That might be your turn 1. But turn 3, you can literally everything here you can go into. Like I don't care what you have in the graveyard. If you were able to make Seal and Barone, you can get to literally anything in this extra deck, anything at all. That's just how explosive the deck can be. But because you're playing so many cards that require discards and stuff, obviously you're going to be kind of weak to Ash. A single Ash can be kind of detrimental because a lot of this requires like you use this and discard that to special summon level 7, and then you normal summon this to bring that back, and in order to make your Barone, or and then kind of make plays from there. But it kind of sucks if they ash this, because then now you don't really have the stuff in the graveyard to really kind of keep going. You gotta hope that you have something else. So you have your call by, you have your Gamma. Gamma's pretty essential in this deck. I mean, there's no reason not to use it. That's also why we have the Synchro Stardust Dragon, which I say would be essential in this deck. Most of your starting plays are when you have no monsters on the field, so you might as well play the Cyframe Gamma, a cell package, so you can get to Perone and 5 summons, so you don't get hit by Nibiru so hard. But yeah, this is what I came across. There's a lot of other stuff that I was also looking into. One other little secret thing that you can also tech in here is the Rose Dragon archetype. If this card sends to the graveyard or synchro material, you can special summon one Rose Dragon monster from your hand or deck. This is a level 3 tuner, meaning that you can make a Barone, whatever, with it. And then you can special summon this Rocks Rose Dragon, which is another tuner. So effectively, you can also have like another double Dragonity Goosemir, because one cool thing that you could do here is if you have like, let's say, one of this and then 2 of these, you use this effect to discard one of these to bring a Tempest onto the field, wherever the Tempest is. Yeah, bring out the Tempest, normal summon this, special summon the second Goosemir, make your level 10 Synchro, and then use the Tempest in the graveyard to banish 2 cards, bring it back, and use the second one to go into another level 10. You could effectively do that with just this one card right here, Red Rose Dragon, by itself, without having as much necessary setup. Because you could just normal summon this, Synchro summon off, and then it's going to special summon the other level 3 Rose Dragon from the deck, and then effectively set up the same play. So there are some synergies in that regard as well, like you'd play 3 of these and then 1 of those. So yeah, I've been testing out a lot of things. I know I keep posting a whole bunch of Dragonity stuff, but that's just because I'm only really tweaking that deck. This deck, I'm really like building from the ground up. I don't see anybody else making any videos on it. Like the last deck that I put into my Dragonity deck, I actually got inspiration from some other videos that I came across. But with this, I'm really just kind of flying it off the dome, and I've been making adjustments and adjustments and adjustments and trying out things and stuff like that. The only reason why I'm not really using the Red Rose Dragon in this deck is because you have to hard draw this. In comparison to Goosemir, which is a wind and allows you to extend even if it gets like ashed or something or whatever type of plays. Like if you open this and whatever else and Goosemir and you get ashed, you can still normal summon, bring that back and make a seal, whereas that option isn't really there with Red Rose Dragon. But I wanted to mention that type of tech is in the deck as well. I did find that the Ringo Worm is actually really cracked in this deck. So this was a pretty cool inclusion to add, and it goes pretty hard with the Dissipator setup as well, as I already mentioned. So there's a whole lot of other techs like that. The whole extra deck is really just your desire, but like I said, I think for the current meta, you're probably, if you're going to want to play Dragon Ruler, I think you're going to want to play it as a Synchro deck with Link monsters and maybe a few XYZs. I think the only XYZs I would really recommend in this day and age is two for this deck. Um, that being Rebellion Dragon and I guess these two Rebellion Dragons. Yeah, yeah, these two right here. These two. Reason being, you make this with two level 7 dragons, and then you just rank it up on top of this. This gives you 3 attacks at 3,000. So this is a pretty good OTK. If you're going second, I think this is the only XYZ that you would want to play in this deck. Otherwise, you really just want to be synchroing off. And then you're going to have a lot of gas and stuff as the turn goes on, especially if you see Super Rejuvenation, if you see that grass is greener, if you see Sacred Sword or the 7 stars. This is a +2 essentially in the deck because you banish the level 7, it searches, plus you draw 2 cards. Or is that a +1? Sorry, +1. It effectively feels like a +2. Really, when you think about it, it feels like a +2. Almost feels like a +3. But you're drawing 2 in exchange of getting rid of these 2, and then your other Dragon Ruler effect activates to get you another 1. So it's really just a +1, but it darn feel almost like a +2. But that's what I have so far. I'm gonna keep tweaking this deck, but yeah, so far I'm really liking this feel. When I get to turn 3, turn 4, I'm actually able to play pretty well. The only issue really is that there's not a whole lot of native board breakers, so that's probably what I'm going to be looking more into next. That's why you see stuff like Scarlight and Cyber Slash Harpy Lady in here, because there are additional ways to kind of help break the board if you don't have that flexibility. Because pretty much everything else here is good if you have to break something, if you're going second, but you need to at least get something on the field, and that's kind of the biggest issue. And Dragonity Glow is here just because if whatever you attach to Graham, you can re-special summon, and you're not locking yourself into anything with this deck. So if your opponent happens to play a Baronne themselves and you manage to swing over it while Graham is on the field, you get to have the Baronne effect for your turn, or for their turn, because you could just use your glow in the graveyard, and this also gives you an additional way of getting to the Dragonite Armogram. So if you open this and any baby ruler, that means you also have this card. So this is effectively just Graham in his own face. All right, and I have some replays, but we'll go through them later. This one right here, which is more so of going over this, typically I always have a replay to show, which actually has some pretty cool duels where people were like scooping against Dragon Ruler. You know, I like Sword Soul was scooping against Dragon Ruler, which may not seem like a big accomplishment, but Sword Soul normal summon Moye is still pretty strong. But yeah, I'll have another upload sometime either this week or early next week with some replays with this once I kind of fine tune a little bit more. But I want to kind of give you guys a little taste of what I was working on as of right now. And thanks for watching, and I will catch you all later.